All right, triumphant return to the shop. It's day 2. Yesterday I put in about half hour, 45 minutes, gluing up a couple of blanks for the ends of this piece and for the bottom, selecting the lumber for all the parts. This cradle is basically going to be the same design as this toolbox with rockers on the bottom, and this handle won't be there. But other than that, it's designed the exact same way. So I am going to plane and sand the two ends and get them cut out on the CNC. And I'm going to hold off on planing the sides and bottom. Normally I would do it all together, but I need those sides and the bottom to fit perfectly into the mortise that the CNC is going to cut. So I'm going to hold off until that mortise is cut so that I can kind of test my fit as I go. right, here we are, end of day 2. I spent about 2 hours and 15 minutes today working on the ends and the rockers. The ends and the rockers I had to machine as 2 separate pieces for basically 2 reasons. Number 1, the rocker grain orientation needs to go horizontally, while the end of the cradle needs to go vertically. And also the size of the CNC router we have wouldn't allow them to be put together in one blank ahead of time. So I cut them out as 2 separate parts. Then I used the domino to assemble them. The domino, if you're not familiar with it, basically makes 2 mortises, and then you put a floating tenon in a bunch of glue and clamp it up. And that's what we've got right here. You can see that. Sorry for the terrible angle. That'll be dry tomorrow. I'll be sanding it, finishing it up, doing some round over, that kind of a thing, generally getting it ready for assembly. I also made this template that'll give the cradle a bit of detail. I also left the rockers a little bit fat on the CNC, and my intention was to use the template to then machine them down. It turns out that the CNC did a really good job as far as not blowing out any of the grain. My thought was that since it's computer guided, if you got into some challenging grain, there's a potential of it having some tear out, and I figured if I did it by hand, I'd have a little bit more control over it. But it turned out really well, so in the future, maybe I won't worry about that quite as much. Anyway, tomorrow, hoping to assemble the whole thing and really just get it ready to finish. It should be pretty close tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.